Construction materials form the backbone of our built environment, accounting for a vast majority of all materials used on Earth. Concrete is the most used material worldwide after water, with over 30 billion tons produced annually for its practicality and versatility. Concrete is low carbon compared to other building materials, but its massive production inevitably results in a large volume of carbon emissions. Cement, the key ingredient in concrete that holds stones, gravel, and sand together, is produced at a staggering volume of 4.2 billion tons annually. This means half a ton a year for every living person on Earth. Cement production accounts for 8% of global carbon emissions, making it a large greenhouse gas emitter. Cement production emits CO2 because it involves heating limestone to produce clinker. Emissions arise from the decomposition of limestone in the preheating tower and the burning of fossil fuels in large rotary kilns. The good news is that we can replace half of the clinker in traditional cement with materials that emit far less CO2. Limestone calcined clay cement, known as LC3, achieves this by using calcined clay and finely ground limestone, reducing CO2 emissions by up to 40%. Clay requires less heating than limestone, reducing fuel consumption, and unlike clinker, clay doesn't release CO2 when heated. LC3 could be saving more than 500 million tons of CO2 every year by 2040. That is nearly half of all emissions generated annually by the aviation industry. Concrete is essential for our built environments. Global cement production rose from 300 million tons in the 1960s to over 4 billion tons annually in 2020. In 1960, almost all cement produced in the world was in the global north, but today it produces only 6%. Since the 1990s, cement production has surged in the global south, with China accounting for over half of global production in 2020. Global cement production is expected to rise over the next 30 years, mostly in the global south, with significant growth in India and Africa. The challenge is to produce more cement while drastically reducing emissions. A recent report from EPFL in Switzerland and the LC3 project looks at how cement has been used in different regions of the world and what to expect for the future. Cement is vital for social development and housing. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 11 aims for decent housing for all by 2030. This goal underpins many other SDGs, as adequate housing is a foundational requirement for achieving targets like eradicating poverty, ensuring healthy lives, and providing equitable education. To address the global housing challenge, 600 million new or renovated homes need to be built, particularly in Africa and Asia, mostly due to population growth and urbanization. Housing is just the tip of the iceberg. Cement is essential for infrastructure like roads, bridges and tunnels, schools and hospitals, airports and energy systems. Decarbonizing cement production with low-carbon cement like LC3 is imperative to prevent severe environmental damage. To reach net zero emissions, the sector can reduce the amount of clinker in cement, reduce the amount of cement used in concrete, improve design to minimize the usage of concrete overall, and switch to alternative fuels at minimal cost. Carbon capture and storage, though costly, can help close the final gap. In Africa, with 1 billion more people by 2050, there will be a high demand for affordable cement for homes and infrastructure. Currently, most African countries import more cement than they produce, leading to high costs. African countries could use local resources like clay, which is abundantly available across the continent, to produce low-carbon LC3 cement. In doing so, they could reduce costs, create jobs, and make cement more affordable, all while cutting CO2 emissions from construction. By using LC3, we can build the infrastructure for the future sustainably, creating resilient, efficient, and environmentally friendly communities worldwide. Achieving this will require collaboration among cement producers, architects, builders, governments, and policymakers to work together in creating a greener, more sustainable world.